Hi, everyone. I'm from a small village in Romania, Transylvania. Our house is pretty old, built in 1942, and it has some strange features that we can't explain. I have lived here all my life, and I've experienced some creepy things that I want to share with you. When I was young, about 10 years old, I used to play in the attic a lot. The attic was like a second home for me. One afternoon, I found a door in the attic, which was covered with cobwebs and dust. I pushed open the creaking door and stepped inside. It was pitch black. Then I turned on the light and saw that there was an empty wardrobe, and next to it a full-length mirror. The mirror had no glass, but only a wooden frame, but I could still see my reflection. At the time, I didn't think much of it. I just thought it was a really old mirror. Now I know that this was not a normal mirror. The next time I entered the attic, the mirror was gone. I searched everywhere, but it was nowhere to be found. A few weeks later, while playing in the attic, I heard a knock. I couldn't believe it because no one else was home and my parents were in the garden. I went to the door and called out, "Who's there?" No answer. So I opened the door and went into the room. Again, no one was there.
Hey.
I checked under the bed and in the wardrobe, but everything was fine.
Yeah.
I was so scared that I ran out of the attic and locked the door. After that incident, I never went back into the attic again. And then one day my parents asked me why I never played in the attic anymore. I told them what happened, and they decided to check it out themselves. They searched everywhere, even behind the wardrobe, where only cobwebs and spiders were. My parents said that it must have been mice making the noise, but I knew it wasn't. I could feel it in my bones that something or someone was living in there. A few days later, I was cleaning my room when I heard the same knocking sound. I rushed to the mirror to see if it had returned, but it was still missing. As I was looking around, I noticed that the wardrobe door was slightly ajar. It was so dark inside that I couldn't see anything. I slowly opened the door and looked inside. Suddenly, the full-length mirror appeared right in front of me. I screamed and fell backwards. Then I slowly calmed down and realized that the mirror was moving. I reached out to touch it, but before my fingers could make contact, the mirror vanished again. Maybe I had imagined the whole thing. I don't know. But I still wanted to get to the bottom of this mystery. I entered the wardrobe to see if I could find the mirror in there, but when I did, the air grew freezing cold. I tried to keep calm and go back out, but the wardrobe door had disappeared. I was trapped inside. I started to panic. What if I would never get out? Would I be stuck in there forever? But after a few seconds, the wardrobe door reappeared, and I was able to leave. I was shaking all over. I needed to do something to calm myself down, so I went to the kitchen to pour myself a glass of water. When I came back, I noticed that my cat, Dracula, was hissing at the wardrobe. He was arching his back and trying to scratch the door. He had never acted like this before. Then he did something that I could not believe. He jumped into the wardrobe and disappeared. I was so worried about him. What had happened? Was he okay? I opened the door and went inside. There was nothing there but a pile of dirty clothes. I looked everywhere, but my cat was gone. I kept calling his name, but he didn't respond. Then suddenly, he appeared in front of me and rubbed against my legs. It was as if he had never been gone. I didn't understand it. How had he teleported? But one thing was clear, the wardrobe was not normal. My cat stayed away from the wardrobe from that moment on. He never went near it again. After my parents heard about this incident, they decided to get rid of the wardrobe once and for all. They took it apart and threw it in the trash. This might be the end of the story, but it's not. Because one night I was awoken by strange noises coming from downstairs. I got out of bed and went to my parents' room to ask what was going on. They were fast asleep. I didn't wake them up, but instead I went to the window and looked out. That's when I saw the most incredible sight. Right beneath my window, the wardrobe was standing in the middle of our garden, swaying gently in the wind. Couldn't believe my eyes. How could it be outside? We had thrown it in the trash cans. Or so we thought. Then suddenly the wardrobe opened and a pale hand reached out. It looked like an emaciated arm of a skeleton. I screamed and backed away. The hand disappeared, and the wardrobe closed. I was too afraid to call my parents and tell them what I'd seen. I went back to bed and pulled the covers over my head. In the morning, I got up and ran to the window, but the wardrobe was gone. My parents and I searched the entire garden, but it was nowhere to be found. This was no ordinary piece of furniture. What kind of magic was this? Was it a ghost or a demon that had possessed the wardrobe? One day my parents decided to finally clean out the attic. As they were clearing out some stuff, They found a strange leather-bound book hidden behind the wardrobe where the mirror had stood. The book seemed very old and looked like it had been written in another language. As soon as they touched the book, though, it began to shake violently. The pages flew out and revealed a strange symbol. My parents didn't know what it meant, but it looked evil. Suddenly, the room started to get colder and colder. The temperature dropped so low that my parents had to run out of the attic. From that moment on, they never went back up there. To this day, the attic remains locked. No one dares to enter it. And whenever I hear footsteps or other strange sounds coming from upstairs, I know that whatever is up there doesn't want to be disturbed. Now, many years have passed since those strange events, but I will never forget them. Who knows what kind of secrets our house is hiding? There are so many things that we can't explain. Maybe it's better that way. Maybe some things are best left unknown. It's not just our house that has secrets. We all do. Even I am hiding something from you right now. Have you ever wondered what your YouTube crush looks like? No, seriously. What does she look like? Well, now you have the chance to find out. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.